to start by saying all praises to Yahweh, our Hashem, Yahushai, our Hashem, our Rakah, double honors to the apostles and elders, the great Muslims of the world, shalom to the hopeful elect. We're Hebrew Israelites who come here every week to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom, which is known as Babylon the Great, in accordance with the Holy Bible. Alright, and as in the tradition of the Bible, the Heavenly Father basically raises up the prophets, which are his mouthpiece, to basically prophesy against that said kingdom. Right? Because as he was shown unto the Lord when he was on the scene 2,000 years ago, he basically showed all the kingdoms under the command of Satan. Alright? And all those kingdoms that are under the command of Satan included this one. Alright? You had the righteous prophets being risen up back then to prophesy the downfall of those said kingdoms. Alright? Until the time of what? The kingdom of heaven. Alright? The main ones that have been spoke of when you go into the book of Daniel, the second chapter, where you deal with the statue with a head of gold, Nebuchadnezzar, right on down to the feet with miry clay mixed with iron, alright, and then also you have, you know, the what's it, the beast, what's the other one? Yeah, that's the main one actually. Thinking about Daniel 7, they're spoken down in a different way. But all these things are spoken, alright, we're basically in that time. That's why now when you got Trump in the vicinity, alright, of the White House, he's basically around to usher in that end time. Alright, now if this was a movie, alright, you'd think, well, it's about to go down. Alright, because you had the wildfires, the turn of the year, what happened? You had the wildfires over in LA, which are rekindling again. Now they're talking about they got mudslides coming over there. Alright? And then you got what other things we got going on? You got snow falling in Florida. Right? Florida, the sun, I swear they call it the Sunshine State. Is that the name of it?
No, I'm not sure if that's...
Alright, but it's basically, what's it known for? It's known for the sun. Right? So you're seeing a lot of things the world over.
Yeah,
basically,
Florida.
yeah, the Sunshine State. Right? So you got, the Sunshine State is snowing. Right now, you had Trump get inaugurated. Now, the word inauguration goes back to Rome, right? Because this kingdom is basically the second leg of Rome, all right? And that whole ideal of basically inaugurating a power, all right, a leader over the nation, was basically something that was set in idolatry, okay? And we could go into that and got some information for that. And then you can see how it says the omens prior to their coming in basically sets the tone of what the presidency. Alright? What you got?
2nd Edges 9:1 says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand there is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Alright, read it again from the top.
He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself.
Right, so I believe this is Uriel talking to Ezra, and he's basically saying to him, look, this is what I'm going to instruct you to do. Measure the time diligently. Right? What's the measurement of the time? The measurement would be the Holy Scriptures. Right? Because when you go into the book of Revelation, the 11th chapter, it speaks about that is without measuring not. Alright? But the whole base of the temple, that's what you're to measure. And the measuring stick is the word, the prophetic word within the Bible. Alright? Go and read on.
And when thou seest part of the signs past.
Right, so when you go into open the Bible and you look at the prophetic words of the Bible, because it tells you, everyone talks about Jesus Christ, which ain't his name, alright? But they talk about him, and his whole thing, it tells you in the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter, it says, the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is his true name, is the spirit of prophecy. Alright? So what is the full proof of Yahweh Shai? His prophetic words coming to pass. Alright? So now, when you open this book and you go by the prophecy, you see that there's things that have come to pass, are playing out before your eyes in living color, but there's also things you can see that are about to come to pass. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear. Read on.
which I have told thee before, that thou then shalt thou Salah. Which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand there is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Right, so when you see these things starting to come into play, right, you read it, you see, oh, okay, yeah, they got that. All right, cool. Well, let's go to one Obadiah, the first chapter. Let's go there to give you a insight into, you know, some of the prophecies that come to pass before that really show you what time we're in, all right? Because a lot of people will say, this has been going on, you know, there's been world wars since the world began. And there's been this, there's been that. But if you see, the Bible is a book that you have to break down bit by bit, here a little, there a little, precept upon precept. All right, there's an art to it. All right, and that art is only bestowed upon his children. That's why it tells you in the book of Amos, the 3rd chapter, the 7th verse. It says, "I will do nothing but reveal my secrets unto my servants, the prophets." All right, because why? Why is he going to tell them about your secrets? Because the word prophet means to say before. All right, so they're going to come before the people as we are doing right now. Isaiah 34, Isaiah 58, 1 as well, right, where it tells you to be a prophet unto the nations, it tells you to lift up thy voice like a trumpet, show my people their transgressions. We're doing that, right, because we've been bestowed those secrets to put before all. Whether you will hear or forbear, it's what you do with it is up to you. We're not going to be coming up to you and running you down. You know what? You should listen to what we're saying. Listen, you can get with the program now if the spirit is on you to do so, or you can suffer the consequences later on down the line. But as far as we're concerned, it's nothing to do with us. Right? But, I mean, if you come up the right way, then we'll definitely work with you, build, edify you. But that's how it goes. Right? Go ahead. And any precepts, get any precepts about what I'm saying as well, or whatever you feel.
Obadiah 1, start from verse 2. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
Yeah.
Thou art greatly despised."
Right, so this one chapter of Obadiah, all right, basically goes into, it's a heavy, you know, it's one of the minor prophets as the scholars call them, but it's a heavy chapter, all right, because a lot of the prophecies within this one chapter of 20-something, 20-odd verses, basically breaks down this modern day and age we're in, right? Because he's speaking about the man known as Esau and his descendants known as the Edomites, all right, which today are known as the so-called white race, or Caucasians, white people, whatever you want to call it, all right? But this is the time that we're presently in, and this is why this is heavy, all right? You got anything?
Verse 3, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks."
Right, it says the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. So when it's talking about the heart, you gotta go ahead to the Hebrew. The word there for heart is love, right, which means your mind. So it's saying your mind has deceived you. All right, the thoughts and your beliefs that you hold within your mind are alive to you. You know, it's an imagination. Okay? And it said, but the main point is it pointed the finger and you know, spoke out to who it was. It says, "Down dwellest in the cleft of the rock." There's only one race upon the earth right now that should go back to that place, the Caucasians. All right, that word goes back to mountain dweller, cave dweller, or someone who dwells in the Caucasus. Right, so it's very specific as far as who was speaking to.
"Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high."
Whose habitation is high. And it's even more, that's foolproof right there. Because when you look at the earth, the world over, you have the Empire State, New York City, right? In Babylon the Great, which is known today as America, that ain't even a capital. It ain't even a capital of the state it's in, all right? But that place has a spirit upon it because it's been deemed by the Heavenly Father. Now, to the point of why am I mentioning that? It's known as a concrete jungle, right? It has skyscrapers. Even the name, the word skyscraper says everything you really need to understand about that place. right? Their buildings scrape the sky. And instantly, what does that bring to mind? If you have a biblical mindset, there's a story, all right, in the book of Genesis, and it speaks about the pride of those people there trying to go up to the heavens, all right? And let's talk about Nimrod, all right, the first ever Babylonians, all right, because that was where the word Babylon goes back to the land of confusion, because of Babylon one to another, because the Heavenly Father confounded their language. Now the point being is that same mindset, that same spirit is being perpetuated today, all right? And New York City, the Empire State, is somewhere you can see that in all its splendor, all right? You got anything to say or?
No. Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Right. You know what? You're gonna have to go to Genesis 11. Read that. It mirrors it, like for like. And we saw what happened back then. All right. But then, guess what? It's gonna happen. What happened back then? This is even more. When you go into the book of Jeremiah, it speaks about the angel see, or Jeremiah see, being asked, what do you see? And he see, I see a sieving pot in the north, in the land of the north, basically. Now that sieving pot, basically speaks to what? A mixing bowl, a mixing pot, sorry. I always do that, man. A melting pot, all right? America being a melting pot. Why? Because you have all the cultures over there melting into one another, all right? But there's a lot more, even beyond the people melting, being a melting pot and mixing together, there's even more than that, because it's the philosophies, the different things of wickedness are being thrown into the pot and mixed together, right? Which brings about more judgment, more damnation upon that nation, upon that people, okay? Go ahead.
Genesis 11 and 2 says, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
Right.
And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name,
whose top may reach unto heaven. That's that skyscraper, man. Scrape the sky. That prize that, they can be angelic in a sense. That's a throwback and ode to what? Going back to the, you could say Mount Seir, right? The Caucasus. That's what it's a throwback to. Go ahead, read on.
and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Right.
And the Lord Yahweh came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men building. And the Lord Yahweh said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do.
Right, so the people all together, they were one, and they have one language, and this is what they begin to do. All right? This, in the book of, Paul, a very well-learned man, all right, who studied under the feet of Gamaliel, all right, as touching the law, blameless, all right? He said in the book of Romans, the things that are written aforetime are written for our learning, all right? So these things are short. This is part of measuring the time diligently, about being circumspect, looking around, all right? Because these things that are being mentioned, they should draw great comparison, damning comparisons to the world we live in right now, all right? And have you in the mindset of, wow, if this is going on all over again, I wonder what's around the corner, all right? And that's why it says in the book of Proverbs, a wise man perceiveth evil, and I forget the last part, man. And
Isaiah 33 and 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is his treasure. Yeah, so wisdom and knowledge, that's essentially the key currency needed to endure through in the time of trouble, man. Because as far as it is, there's all kinds of different so-called forms of understanding and knowledge we go into, but then it's all about the wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures. That's really what you need. As far as when you go to the prophecies, whenever it comes up some kind of apocalyptic scenario, let's say, then you go into the news, you go into TV, movies, whatever. They start talking about the Bible. That's what comes up. They start talking about the Book of Revelation. They start talking about what's written inside of
Isaiah,
this book.
Ezekiel, the major prophets as well.
Yeah, that's essentially where we'll go to. Because why? That's what the Bible's known for. Those prophecies. There's other books that supposedly have prophecies in them, but then the reason why when things come to pass on this side, everyone's not talking about the Egyptian Book of the Dead, let's say, then there's a reason why. It's because when you go to the scriptures, they know it's certified. The thing is as far as the elites know, they know it's true. They're enacting their plans and desires based off the words of the book. So as far as for us in this time, that's really the knowledge that we need to build our foundation upon. Because if you've not, then that's why it's like the prophecies will come, you'll be confounded.
That's why the Lord gave the parable of the man that built his house upon the stone. All right, whereas you had the man that built his house upon the sand. All right, we built, Lord willing, a sure and sturdy foundation, being rooted and built up in Yahweh Shai. All right, so when the water comes down, all right, those heavy showers, that rain and storm and tempest and all that, will be sure to withhold and withstand from any form of damage. All right, this is what it's about. You need to right now, Peter spoke about the manifold temptation leading up to the great and terrible day. All right, because ultimately it's going to be a great temptation. It's known as the hour of temptation, the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, where everyone upon the earth is going to be tempted. And to some people it won't seem like a temptation because they will have been lulled to sleep and just easily think, yeah, that's the best, that's a great shower. Yeah, I'm going to do that. But they don't know they failed the test. They didn't even know it was a test. All right, because by the time it's come their way, they weren't looking or, they weren't aware of the things that was happening. All right, but that goes into, that segues perfectly into this. That's what I was mentioning. Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but a simple pass on and are punished. You want to go into that? Because that goes into what you were speaking about Isaiah 33:6.
Read it again.
Right. Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man perceiveth the evil and hideth himself, but a simple pass on and are punished.
Yeah, that's a matter of having that foundation and that acting upon it. Because as far as well, it's like with this understanding of the times, you're meant to know like, oh, okay, there's danger coming, then what action needs to be taken. And the key thing you can go to is the MOTB. As far as with that, knowing what that is and knowing not to take it, and then what taking that entails for your destiny as an Israelite, then that's key information. That's core. You could endure through all other things, but then if at the last you just take it, then you failed the race. That's why these things are essential to know and act upon. That's why it says what, was it simple?
Yeah, it said it. I'll read it. But the simple pass on and are punished.
Yeah, they pass on and are punished. And that's really and that's the thing is, a lot of this information, a lot of this understanding, you can really get, you can really be enlightened to it, like fairly easily. I remember before I even came to the truth, there was a guy that showed me videos of Babylon. And then it's crazy how it was just going around. And then even, especially with the debates really where a lot of people have been, oh, okay, there's this Hebrew thing, there's this Israelite thing. Because why? That's just...
You gotta say his real name, you know. Ricard of the I...
GOCC.
GOCC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, you know what? That's like
But
2011.
I
Circa 2011.
You know, I mean,
yeah, Ricard of GOCC. That's some videos of him. But then yeah, it's with what do you call it? With those debates, they're just far more popular just because for entertainment people will go to. But then they'll be put onto, oh, the Israelites. And then, okay, what are these guys talking about? Certain prophecies will come up and whatnot. But that's why it's something that really there's no excuse. As far as for the elect, they're going to stumble upon it and then lay hold on it. But then it's for people, there's going to be countless, a humongous amount of Israelites that will hear it and cast it aside. There's going to be people in the world as well. They'll just cast it away. Which is ironic. You've got people in the world talking about the MOTV, correctly identifying as the RFID chip as well.
I got this for you as well. Proverbs 1 and 22. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and ye refuse, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. Getting what you think? But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof.
Yes, that's essentially it. It's something. It's not a matter of. There was never a point where you could have been like, okay, what is this thing? And then looked into it and been like, okay, there's something to this, and actioned upon it. There's always, as far as for especially when you're dealing with Israel, there's always a point where you kind of have it put to you. And then we've been on the streets corners long enough to see there are countless Israelites that will come by and like, what's all this about? Then they'll just be like, nah, and they'll go and they'll continue with their day. That's the choice being made. But then even with this thing, there's a period of time where the door's open. And it's really, whilst that door's open, that's where action needs to be taken. As soon as it's closed, it's done, man. It's game over. And that's what a lot of people don't really it's not real to them. They're thinking like, oh well, they might think, oh, there might be something to it, but I'll be able to take action in the future. There's a lot of people where they kind of think, like, oh, well, I'm looking to get religious. I want to live my life. When I'm like 60, I've got a little bit of time left. Then I'll get into it.
Let me answer that question. Ecclesiastes 12 and 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth.
Yeah, it's made plain. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. You're meant to come with that young, chipper, spry body and mind to get into this. That's why you even have there's can't put new wine in old bowls. Because like I said, we've been out forever. There'll be guys that are up in age, in their 40s, 50s, whatever. You're breaking the scriptures down, forwards, backwards, up, down, left, right, at every angle to try and make the guy get. He just can't get. He's stiff-necked. You might have one particular thing, he's just like, nah, I can't deal with it.
But it's just like the angel Uriel said unto Ezra, your mind has gone too far in this world. Because he was asking questions, I was just like, bro, that's irrelevant. You're thinking about things with your fleshly mind. And that's what it is. It's just like anything. Years and years where repetition, doing something over and over again, it becomes a sense of normalcy, or even normalcy bias, where it's like I've seen the apple fall from the tree 200 ways since the day I was born. How are you going to tell me any different? Whereas it's the same for us, because we've come in from a young age and we see it over and over again. We can read the play before you know it, all right? Even like everyone that's coming now, they're nearly up to a score being in this faith. Yeah. And some of them, like brothers came in when I was 16 years old, 17 years old. So they've basically grown up to be a man within this. They don't know any other way. They couldn't describe their 20s and 30s any other way than being with this faith. Yeah. Whereas there's other people, they can't describe a life with this in any way. You've lived your life where adultery, I can take another man's woman. What are you gonna tell me? That's what they like. I can still stuff. I can commit different, acts of theft and different, because you're worldly, right? And really, as the Lord spoke of, if you act and behave according to the world's gonna love you. As it's here about manifestation and the universe, basically you get in what you pour out, you reap what you sow. If you invest in something, you're gonna get your money back, right? That's why you have the mindset as far as, if I do this, the play's gonna always return in the same fashion. And that's why the things we're saying, they're too far-fetched for you to even think about.
Ephesians 4:22. That you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Yeah, put off the old man concerning the former and corrupt and deceitful lust. Essentially, all the things that you get within the world. Even when imagine it's like Israel was in the land, meant to be keeping the laws, knowing the Israelites, raised with all the order of following after the laws, but then they'll still go in the fuck off doing all forms of magic. That's within that structure. Now we're within a completely, even more alien, even more corrupt, complete whirlwind of confusion of a world, and there's people raised in that. So the truth is something even further away. That's why it's something. It's the longer you're in there, you're just being corrupted. You're being rotted at. That's why you get people where it's like they're up in age. They're doing all kinds of funky ass business. Verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, that you put on the new man, which after the power is created in righteousness and true holiness. And yeah, that's essentially what we're doing in the process of doing through this truth, putting on the new man, essentially built within Yahweh Shai. We're trying to separate ourselves and not fall into all the habits, the reflexes of the man that we were in the world. And then that will basically be like what you trying to follow the law to perfection. You trying to essentially follow after the example Yahweh Shai set. And that's something that people in the world will look at and be like, why are you doing that? There's things where it's like they might think, oh, you're not going out to party and do certain things. People will be like, what's going on with that? They might think like, oh, what'd you do during your 20s? Like, why weren't you working on X? Why were you building this skill? Why were you networking? Why were you on holiday? Why were you whatever? They might be like, oh, why is it you? It's like, oh, you working Saturdays? You're always busy? What's going on? These are all things that are what those sacrifices that are basically us trying to mold ourselves into those new men. And then you compare to just contrasting to people in the world, to them it's going to be alien.
Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh.
Evil days come not. because that's really the key aspect to it. There's essentially a certain period of time, the build up, the run up, the prologue, the prelude, whatever term you use, but it's essentially building up to when it becomes that point where everything it's all coming together, and then you're not. And then you're not even going to be able to up until that point. There's preparation that can be done, but once it goes beyond what the point of no return, it's game over. You basically have whatever you built up prior to then. That's really all you're going to have going forward, and that's something that, funny enough, in the world is something they try to work against. They really want to have people in a mindset it's never too late to flip and do this or whatever. Like women having children is one of them. There's a natural period of time women are fertile. Then when you go beyond, like, what is it, 35, what do they call it? The term, it's like not postnatal, it's geriatric pregnancies. Geriatric pregnancies. But then because of IVF, because of various other treatments you can get, which might allow you to work around to a certain extent to still have kids, people think, oh, it's essentially like you could just have it go forever. But the reality of it is you're still going to have issues. And that just applies in all ways. If you think, oh, I want to find a partner, just like with being in the world too long and then being an unfit vessel to be in its truth, you could have someone that's by themselves too long to where they lose their ability to work with someone else, to build a family.
Yeah.
So there's different forms of aspects of basically, how there's that build-up time. But then once it goes beyond, it's done. It's basically going to be, a lot of people are going to be very upset.
Hey, that's why I said Lord of the Years drawing nine. Oh, that's the point. I was like, the pandemic. Did anyone think something like that would happen, where everyone has to be locked away, quarantined for a period of time? No one could see that coming, right? But guess what? Prior, 10, even 20, 30 years prior to that, you had men breaking down and something's going to happen, right? We're in the last days. This and that's going to happen, that's going to happen. Well, I might as well say what this and the MOTB, all right? Everyone's going to have to take a seat in their hand or their body, their person. Everyone's going to have to basically use their rights individual, which you barely got any anyway, all right? World War III is going to happen. Salvation with what the world calls UFOs, UAPs, is going to happen to the so-called Negroes, Latinos and Native Americans and all children of Israel scattered throughout the world, all right? Those are the things that are being spoken of, all right? But going back to the point of 2020, all right, with the C-19 and all that type of stuff, no one could have ever said I know what's going to happen tomorrow. Life just changed abruptly. I remember when you used to have the memes of like, Jake used to have the sister walking with an Afro puff, ponytail, and I'm walking into 2017 as that bigger bag, more true love, like that. And then it got to like 20, I think even prior to the C-19 coming.
Yeah, 2020.
Like 2018, I think 2020 was really when they said, like walking back into 2016, 2017, 2018, when life was better. Everyone says now, like, it ain't the same. The vibe ain't the same. The only people that really enjoy it is those that don't know no better. They can't see that a lot of the luster is gone. Like even, the city, when I used to go once upon a time when I used to go raving or partying out in the city, uptown, you used to have a vibe to it. But obviously, there's a vibe now because most of the people that go there, they only know it for that. But it's drastically changing. It's losing its splendor, right? It's circling the drain. But you'd have to know better to see it.
That's not even just one aspect of like, it's not just the city, it's all aspects.
Yeah.
You can go to Hollywood, you can go to the music industry.
Oh yeah.
You go to any form of entertainment or so-called form of something that people would have looked at with awe and awe before. They're not the same. What they say, it's like Tom Cruise is the last movie star.
Yeah.
Because why? It's like prior to, like, in the prior era, you would have had like movie stars where they would have just been like, you go to, you see every one of their movies. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is the go-to example. That guy could be in anything. This guy was in Predator. He was in Terminator. He was in The Last Action Hero. And in all those, it was like people just go and see all of them because why? It was the draw of him. But then now it's like you don't really have those same iconic kind of people. You might still have talented actors. You might still have good movies, but the whole system around it has decayed and worsened. And that's the same with everything. It's like music. You still have fire tunes that come out. You still have fire artists, whatever albums.
But you don't have megastars like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, the super
James Brown. Who else Prince. I'd say there's American ones, but they're not as big as like Michael Jackson, like Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone.
No one.
Yeah, like because MJ is really an example of like just like global. The guy can go anywhere on the planet, and it's women are fainting, trying to get on stage. They get on stage, they get in his aura, and they're just collapsing.
Yeah.
Like it was hilarious. Like it was. You can still go on YouTube and just find video compilations of it. But that was a whole spirit, and there was a time where that was the norm. Like having people of that caliber was a norm. And the level of talent as well and skill was higher. But it's like it's all decayed. And that's just essentially showcasing that overall the entire society is in decline. Because you would have had, it's the same thing. You go back to ancient Babylon, ancient Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome. There would have been that time where everything was flourishing, everything was like all forms of culture and understanding, whatever, wisdom, etc., was just flourishing on a scale that they would have been like, damn, this is crazy. Like every other nation about would have been looking like, yo, these guys are on a different level. Who can even contend? That was how it was with what Alexander coming up against the Persians. Everyone was like, how is he going to contend? These Persians are too much, man. They're on a different level. But then what? The spirit got taken off them and then put on Alexander to do his business for 12 years. And that's the thing, is up until the spirit gets taken off, it seems like it's all going to be merry sailing. You have countless of these leaders where they really think they're never going to go down. And this now, it's the same thing. You talk about America's going to be destroyed. People are looking at you like, what? How could America? What? America? So look, America's going to Mars. Look, we're going to have AI to destroy everything. Like, you know, we're not even going to have to work. The AI is going to work. And then you're just going to get your sex robot sucking you off, man. Like, how is America going to be destroyed? But then it comes to prophecy. Then it comes to word. Let me do this because everything is there. Alright,
Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator on the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain.
Yeah, before that understanding's removed. Because as far as the worldly understanding people have, they really think they're in good stead. There's people that genuinely think Trump getting into office means like America's back on track. Everything's going to be grand and great. They think that, you know, somehow the truthers or whatever have been co-opted to where Elon and Trump getting into office is actually they've achieved their agenda. Now the globalists and whatnot, as they call them now, they've been stopped, they've been trumped. But all these guys, they're in accord. They're as one. Like, go back to 2020, people were cursing out the World Economic Forum, talking about what was it, your thingy nothing, you'll own nothing and be happy. That's what these guys were saying. Now you got Trump, what's the word, video calling them and doing speeches at that. Why is he doing speeches then? Because he's in accord with them. He's at one. They're all at one.
It's the same agenda, just a different face, man. It's like when a franchise or a company goes out of business and they basically open up a month later and say under new management. That's all that happened. There's a transition of power, but the agenda remains the same. Right? Even if Kamala Harris would have got in there would have been a different tinge to it, but it would have been the same manuscript they're going by would have still been executed. She wouldn't be saying there's only two genders, but she would be saying you will own nothing and be happy because their funders say that, and that's what they're going to say. All right? Let me read on. Huh?
I know I said you got more.
Yeah. Verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened.
Yeah, even with the grinders, man, those making merchandise. That's a big aspect of what's going to bring true terror to people. Because the what is it?
We're seeing it now.
Yeah.
Job opportunities.
Yeah, that's what's really fucking people up. They can't get a job. They get their education, then it's not giving them the life that they were promised. That's, you know what? It's the speech by Tyler Durden in Fight Club. The one where he says you're not your fucking khakis. He says, like, we're all promised, you know, we're gonna have if you follow this, we'll promise X, Y, Z in life, but then we're finding out that all of that's not true. That was back in the 90s. There was like a bubble that burst back then. Yeah. There was an economic downturn back then. That's how Labour got in over here. And how, you had the dot-com bubble burst. But then what? It was during those times when it was down, that's when everyone was like, yo, what the fuck? This is meant to be the greatest country on earth. How the fuck am I not able to get a job and a house and a wife and some kids and a dog and a white picket fence? That's what people are upset about. And it's the same thing now. Now you have what? People unable to get housing over here in the UK. The cost of energy is rising. Cost of fuel your car is rising. If you ain't driving a hybrid or an electric vehicle, you're paying out an arm and a leg to drive around the ULEZ. You got all forms of ways people are feeling the squeeze. And in reality, that's the opposite of what they wanted from the system. Now again, that's going to feed into prophecies of what? Of these people being upset, them feeling a certain way, and then acting upon it.
Right. Verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the doors of music shall be brought low. All the doors of music being brought low as well. That's all, and really, like I said, it extends to all forms of entertainment. These things have all decayed and worsened. It's not even just in as far as, like, you might say, entertainment value. It's as far as morals as well. That's something that's been noticed over the course of society as well.
you go back like, I don't know, in the 50s, the 60s, whatever. And it's funny, people really wouldn't have expected that there was as much like undercover paedophile rings and whatnot, these different forms of degeneracy happening, especially at higher levels of power, behind closed doors. But lo and behold, what comes out more and more often? Over the last like decade or so, you've had non-stop scandals coming out. Oh, the BBC was behind this. Jimmy Savile this. Oh, the Roman Catholic Church this. Oh, this different form. Within Hollywood this. Within the music industry this. All these different things happening. It's all getting exposed because why? That's the morals have degraded as well, and that's become as a standard. And it's really what an error that proceeded from the rulers. It comes from the top down. It's not there's a lot of people doing it on the lower level. They're trying to emulate something that they're seeing from those above them.
Right, no, just the point of it said the goal is the music being brought low. That's why the quality, like, take something like you already said, entertainment. Now you just have movies being regurgitated, songs being regurgitated. There's nothing original and new on it. That really speaks to going back into the point we were reading about this kingdom basically circling the drain, and the prophecies that are written inside of the Bible coming to pass. Might as well go back to Genesis 11, then we'll go back to open up.
Revelation 18 and 9 says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication.
Like, look, why is this guy playing like a banger from 2020, 2020?
Any 2020 plus.
He's playing a song from the 80s. That's because the quality of music, the value of it is just gone down the drain.
And it's even trying to bring the vibration of how people were in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. You watch a lot of these music videos or whatever, there was a level of optimism. Even if you watch like award shows or whatever, back from the 80s, or even live performances, there was a different energy they had with them.
Well, you had musicians, people that actually knew how to play the instrument, in and out thoroughly, and then you had singers as well that had packs that could actually go through different octaves to give you some soulful, music, man. But now you have everyone doing auto-tune, you're having one-tone singers that basically can only preside in one octave. That's what's going on, all right? Really shows you the quality of this, of the time we're in. It's basically on its way out, right?
Revelation 18 and 9 says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
Right, so this is talking about America. All right, America, land of the land of the free, home of the brave. How the saying goes. All right. Over there, they can make a great amount of wealth with down to the population and what do they call it? Disposable income. All right. All these different nations around the world, they make new, unspeakable wealth off of that nation. All right. So when they see, as I said, 1 hour being brought to naught because of what ICBMs coming from Russia, and funny enough coming from NATO and the EU as well, because that's prophesied in the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter, that all the nations that once, basically the Heavenly Father put a spirit on them for agreeance. All right, but there's going to come a point in time where the lines of friendship are going to, basically blur, and then they're going to side with Russia. All right, hard to believe now, but hey, you heard it here first. That's what the Bible says, and that's what's going to happen. Go and read on.
That mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
Right, so it says in 1 hour is America gonna? That's how long it's gonna take for America's destruction to take place, right? ICBMs, because a lot of people talk about nukes and they speak about like it's a a nuclear deterrent, basically mutually assured destruction is what keeps everyone at peace, okay? But then that's why they will say certain places they don't want them to have nukes because they feel like if they have them, it may really push it to the precipice of World War III. But no one's ever bared a sword in vain, all right? No one's ever had a sidearm in vain. Usually if you feel, I don't feel the need to grab myself a gun, a knife, or nothing. But there's people that do. And usually if they do, there's a good reason why they feel they need it, all right? Because they feel like their life's in danger and they have to utilize that possession. So there's a reason why those things were made.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Right, no man buyeth their merchandise no more. So they're basically going to have a bag of inventory that they're going to be like, wow, we lost out on all of this, man. We could have made all that money we was going to make. We can't use it no more. Right?
For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, all fine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors, and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil, and fine flour, and wheat and beasts, and sheep and horses and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men, and even the souls of men. Because that's a big aspect of engaging with Esau's society. Because why? It's all the goods. That's what draws people's eyes to it. They're thinking like, yo, okay, wow. They see the lifestyle. They see the cars, houses, clothes, jewelry, women, and they're thinking like, yo, I want a slice. And they're willing to what? To sell anything, even their own souls, to gain a part. And that's what that's why you've had people degrade themselves more and more over time. Because why? They wanted a slice. And the fruits of thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off in the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off and cried, when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And yeah, the shipyards, that's a whole industry in and of itself. Being able to build a high-tech freight shipping in international shipyard is legendary. You had the ship that went aground in which canal was it? Not the Suez Canal.
The other one.
Yeah, because I think it begins with a H. I can't remember the exact route. Strait of Hormuz, that's the one. When you had one ship stuck there for like, what was it, 3 days or something? That was impacting global trade. Because why? Those ships maneuvering, they're bringing such amounts of wealth so regularly that it's essential, it's core. And that's really how the modern age is. Everything's about being transported, being flown around.
Logistics.
Yeah. It's being made in the cheapest place and shipped and sold somewhere else for the maximum amount it can be sold for. These are all the things people are going to be lamenting for. Because why? That's the doorway. That's the doorway. You can be in one of the poorest places on earth But if you can find a product to ship off and sell to America, you can make it big. Even people that can just get into the country, work there for a few years, then send some of the money home, they're gonna be like head and shoulders above people that are just stuck in that country. That's really what has everyone drawn in, man, and enamored, intoxicated within it. They're drunk off the wine. They'll accept all the complete confusion of Babylon because why? You know, they might have to accept all these new age beliefs, but as long as it comes with money and the promises of improving their life, they'll fuck with it. Would you want to put me Genesis or?
Yeah, Genesis 11, and we'll go back to that one. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed.
Yeah, they're essentially what all these nations, they're drunk off the wine, and then what? When Babylon's fallen, then what? How for her? Take balm for her, if so be she may be healed. They want it to continue. They're desirous of what? That system to endure. Because why? They're already grafted onto it. That's already how they've basically developed themselves. That's why you have, on the rise, these different nations, you have the economies like, they always talk about like South Korea, Japan and whatnot. They're some of the most, they call it advanced economies. But then what, they took on the system of the beast system, and then lo and behold, what are they having now? Those advanced economies have completely regressed from having any children, from their ability to function and even survive is a crisis point. Because why? The economy, the business, their education system, all these things, they're basically molded in the image of America, and as such, then they've got the negatives as well. Then they're trying to fix, like, why aren't people having kids? Like, you didn't realize it wasn't happening. The only reason it seems like people are having kids over here is because migrants are coming in. The traditional British, they're not having kids like that. Their birth rates also below replacement. So cool.
Verse 9. We would have killed Babylon, but she is not killed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For a judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies.
Yeah, that fire that's gonna hit, man, that nuclear fire. It's basically gonna be laced to a point where it's like, damn, everyone's gonna know. Yo, it's fucked. They actually got judged. That whole dream of that system continuing forever was in Psalms 49 and 11. The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. They think it's never going to end. But then it's evident that there's no way, like, humanity would be able to survive in this within the bounds of the system. Nothing.
You know, if the Heavenly Father didn't shorten the days, there'd be no flesh left to be saved.
Yeah.
We're in a place where when you deal with something like microplastics, they're saying that, I forget what percentage they say that and then everything has microplastics in it.
Yo, what you talking about percentage of people?
Yeah.
I mean everything. Yeah. Like all water, all different animals and whatnot. I think they said like eggs, like even like birds' eggs and shit, have microplastic. Like it's fucked. Because why? It's something that Esau basically opened Pandora's box with plastic. Then it was like afterwards, it was like, oh wait, actually, this doesn't degrade, this doesn't break down. Then it goes into the water, goes into all different forms of life, different aspects of it. Then what? It just gets recycled through to where it breaks down to the micro level where you can't even see it, you wouldn't even know. But then, go under what they call a microscope, go under a microscope, then you're gonna see it's there. But then that's just how Esau gets down. It's even with different forms of pollution as well. There's various different things like what asbestos, there's all different forms of materials. I'm saying that were used, but like benignly. Like they thought it was just where it was just like, oh, you can just use it. It's just a cheap, useful, whatever. But then through the process of time, they realized, oh, it's giving people cancer. Oh, it's fucking up kids. It's doing whatever.
Even drugs, different drugs.
Yeah.
Secret.
Yeah, cocaine used to be a coke. It's an energy booster. That's fucking funny, man. Because of that,
and then you even had in the 80s, remember people coming out with underdeveloped arms because of that. I forgot the name of that drug everyone was having rolled over and they had to withdraw it. And that was like a whole generation. Zika's like the next thing. So, but you can see there's a trend with this man, right? You can see that you go throughout the course of the years or generation to generation, you see there's that one thing that smoked the generation. Oh, we mishandled this, the use of this drug. Oh, we misused this. We didn't know about vaccines can do that. Oh, we didn't know about plastics. There's always something. Now, wouldn't that require a sense of due diligence before you present it to the world? Isn't it? Because that's what people were saying during COVID. They were saying that, when someone introduces a shot, it goes through a rigorous process of the course of 10 years. So by the time it's presented to you, it's foolproof. But then lo and behold, you always have
like 6 months turnover or something.
Yeah.
And then they'll like say, no, it's safe until years later. Then they just stop saying it's safe.
But then if it's safe, why were you saying that no one could, if you take it, you can't sue? I thought 6 months, in 6 months you did what 10 years could do. Alright, but that's you simple. That's we read it before. How long were you simple? Actually, I didn't even finish reading that, man. Proverbs 1 and 21. No, I didn't finish. Verse 25. Proverbs 1 and 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as a desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon you. But I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they had hated knowledge. Let me read that again. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord Yahweh. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof.
Therefore, essentially, any information, any truth you can come with, they didn't want any part in it. And that's evident to observe in the modern age. Now everything's kind of been accelerated and pushed. The dial's been turned up to 11 in how everyone conducts themselves. Now you really do have people showcasing the fullness of don't fucking tell me shit. Because why that ignorant, especially even with that black culture, ignorance is glorified. Which then is what you've essentially made your bed.
What verse? Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices.
Yeah, they can eat the fruit of their own way. They're going to reap what they sow.
That's why it says in the book of Corinthians, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Because the device that you're basically going to eat of is that of Satan. Right? Many have gone in the way of Cain. Forget this.
Paul.
That's it, yeah. So you're going to find out the hard way. You've been emboldened in this world to believe that your way is right. Not knowing that the world has been given over to the hand of the wicked. That's why you walk in, that's why you have the success you're having. Right?
The system is artificially propped up.
That's it. But then you fail to remember that the Lord, the Heavenly Father's Son, when he was on the scene, he didn't have an easy day when he walked upon this earth, man. They were trying to kill him. and he was there to save him. So that's like, many are ignorant.
Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. And yeah, that's why you have these, completely destructive systems within society, normalized or defended or propped up. Because why? As far as the ways of Esau are, he is as death. His spirit's not upright. At some point you'd realize, like, oh, okay, it's like the things that you think like are essential to survival: food, water, and air. Like destroying those things, that doesn't even make any sense. You're basically setting you're in your down the line in your future, you're setting your own destruction. Like why that don't make no sense to follow through. But then, this is a man where, he'll pride himself in the destruction of those things. And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto all nations, and heapeth unto all people. And yes, it's a hunger, it's a desire without, it can't be satisfied. Man's got the rule, man's got wealth, man's got etc. But then at what point does it ever become enough? And that point doesn't really exist. This guy's filled himself up, and yet it's still, you go to the Georgia Guidestones. Why is it there's still more that's desirous to be done? Why is there still more that's because why? Because why? That hunger is insatiable. Like the monetary system, you think this, especially with the elite, they have enough to where they could resolve every issue that exists on the planet Earth and still have money left over to never be able to run out of money before they die. So why is it that these things aren't being resolved? Because why? Because they have that greed. Because the system was constructed to keep everyone else at the bottom. What they call it, trickle down economics was the term they used in the 80s. Where you give money to the rich, then it's meant to trickle down into the rest of the economy. But then what's the reality of it? It's really trickle up, man.
Well, yeah. And the trickle down is you coming to do the labor for them. That's it. You being their indenture, their slave.
Et moi, je me suis dit,
Well,
j'aurais tous les gens, ils étaient contre toi.
So Genesis 11 and 5 says, and the Lord Jehovah came down to the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord Jehovah said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord Jehovah scattereth them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord Jehovah did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord Jehovah scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth.
Right. So that was an example of, building up and trying to establish yourself as mighty before the Heavenly Father. Right? Gods of earth. But as an example, Babylon the Great had that happen. Of Babylon church. Right? What was before that?
What was the guy?
Yeah, go back to Obadiah. Thingy off.
Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest from the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Right, you shall bring me down to the ground. The Heavenly Father sowed that seed in the mind of Esau. The Heavenly Father sowed that seed in the mind of Esau. The Heavenly Father sowed that seed in the mind of Esau. Why? Because as with Pharaoh, right, Pharaoh had the 10 plagues, but then after he was rebuked and reproved, what happened? He came to his senses, but the Most High hardened his heart. So now with me, it's the same thing. The Most High has hardened his heart. That's the way you can't see. Every other day he's having a new invention coming to fruition. More power, more command, more opportunity. So he feels emboldened and bold as if he can, go forward in his mission, all right, in order to establish what he wants to establish. But the Heavenly Father is setting him up for the hokey poke, basically. You got the banana in the tailpipe, and when he tries to make that move, the Most High is going to show that, the Most High ruling for the kingdom of men. Right? I control everything. Go ahead. Read on.
Who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Right, so this is prophetic words that are being spoken. Though thou, what did he say about the eagle?
Exalt thyself as the eagle.
Exalt thyself as the eagle. Right, the eagle goes back to, really, we want to go back to Rome. Right, when you deal with Rome, and this goes into the inauguration with Trump, because he basically is the American bald eagle, man. The guy looks like one. He has a spirit of it as well. He encompasses it greatly. That's why he said, make America great again. That's his mantra. All right? But read that again. Sorry, I got lost in what I was saying.
Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Jehovah.
Right, so basically this man personifies out the eagle, going back to Rome. Because the reason why they utilize the eagle is because the eagle basically has a thing known as bird's eye view. It's a great animal with great predatory skills and can oversee all that is going on below it. So it's an ode to being, the top bird, top boss. Alright? But then it said, now when you delve further into it, it says, when I set thy nest in the stars, right, part of that being that eagle going so high, that nest is talking about what? It's talking about the space race, right, where you had it going between America and Russia, right, and you had America going to orbit. Back in 1969, I believe it was Apollo 11, all right, that basically went up into the orbit of space, all right, and in doing so, that's when since then, from the 60s going into the 70s, America has never been the same again. They've been on a decline, all right, a rapid decline, mind you. So that's how the Heavenly Father set it up. That once they go up there, what goes up must come down, all right?
It's the ultimate showcase of pride and hubris,
Yeah.
and then that's basically just been flipped on its head. And that's really what you have is, you can go back to Babylon, where it was when they took out the gold and
Vessels.
Yeah, the vessels, and began to drink with them and party with them. Then it was like the writing on the wall, and then their time was sealed. And that's really what you have with Esau. But really, it's what having the children of Israel in his hand, and then essentially blaspheming against the Most High. He's trying to establish himself as a Most High. That's why you have what AI, technological development is what him trying to have the ultimate power over the earth.
Have angels, really, have an algorithm or algorithms of an algorithm. That's really what AI is, isn't it? It's an algorithm of an
Stacking it
algorithm.
on top of it.
Yeah. So they make you trying to have angels that do their bidding. Right? Before it's even said, technically, really, it's the Holy Spirit. That's their version of the Holy Spirit. like a comforter, an all-knowing, omnipresent, omnipotent force that just works on its own accord to keep everything in order. But it's going to fall flat on its face, right? Because really the Heavenly Father is not that, behind that. And I say it all the time because I work with in a field of, dealing with heavy machinery and, robots on a very primal level.
What does that mean? Robots on a primal level?
It's a primitive, sorry.
Oh, that's very, like, it's got some, oh, like, it's just...
Chewbacca sounds and shit. Nah, primitive, that's the word. Robotry on a very primitive level. You see that a machine is meant to work a certain type of way. But because the machine isn't operating, it's like when Esau tried to make the perfect place in a hub, in the bubble back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They had one thing missing, which was wind. So you had the trees just falling randomly, poof, poof, poof. And they were thinking, why the fuck are the trees falling down? Then they figured out, oh, there's no air. I'm sorry, wind. No, what do you call it? Patterns of wind.
Air currents.
Air currents. Because basically what they found out, that the current of the wind basically works with the trees to basically aid in the growth of the roots. It needs controversy, or should I say some form of resistance, in order for its roots to go deeper. All right, and that's why it tells you in the word that we have to be rooted and built up. Because when this wind comes, that's what's going to test you, and then you're going to have to dig deeper and retain your balance within. So the point being, anyway, going back to the point, Esau's trying to create something that operates within the realm of his reality, but when these machines deal with inanimate, they're not inanimate objects, well, they are inanimate objects in the sense that they don't have life, but what do they move in accordance to? The law of physics. So if you deal with like grains of sand, basically, it don't fall like, okay, it's my turn, like form a line, one by one. Okay, I go first. No, it's sand. It just goes accordingly. Oh, why are you going to be in it? Well, congratulations.
That's just the younger generation.
I know.
Yes, you don't even know what it could be.
Yeah. But it's youth. So anyway, it's not like sand or sugar or these things. Do you know what I mean? But it falls down, like, it's not gonna say, okay, I'll go one by one. Humans don't even do that. Do you know what I mean? You have people walking in a line, you're gonna have someone say, fuck this shit. And just try and,
barge through or go around or whatever.
So Esau's thing practically says 1 + 1 = 2. Then they start stacking the maths. Alright, 1 + 1 + 1 equals. Then it's 1 + 1 + 1 plus. Do you know what I mean? But then it's not that. That's not how it works.
You can't. And the thing is, it's not accounting. There's things that you can't account for. It doesn't even know they can't account for them.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like these failings come. But that's the thing. The thing is, anyway, the main thing to account for is the fact Esau is the devil. That's the first thing. Esau's the devil. So when the devil makes something, it's already flawed. It's skewed towards devilism.
Yeah.
Devilry. That's what it's gonna be working on. And then the way they deal with the thing. What did they say? The first AI they released that shit on Twitter, and in like no time flat became a Nazi. Why am I surprised? Because who made it?
Yeah.
But that's the.
But the thing with AI is given free reign within the internet. So if you're a superior, mind, and you go on it, you come through the internet, you're gonna basically uphold a superior thought process, fall in line with it. Okay, the rulers, the people that created me are so-called white men. All right, and then what's like the premier group? Well, not even the premier, but like the most superior mindset, like of that person.
Just within culture in general, what's upheld, what's exalted, it's everything from Esau. Everything
So
from
it's
his
just gonna,
culture,
that's it.
history,
When it comes to the
etc.
internet, it's just gonna say, yeah, I'll select this, and that's it. So that's what a lot of people don't realize. They might subscribe to it, but then what they're going to find out is that when you deal with it, it's basically
Doesn't play out in real life.
no, and it's operating in accordance with what? With the mindset of the thing that it's like that. When you deal with it, you might think, yeah, AI is really good, but it has an inherent bias, right? Because it's operating within the world of the internet.
Yeah, and it's made in these sorts of
So if you're Jake or you're a lesser individual,
if you're to have the same process done in ancient Babylon or in Persia, you're going to get biased towards the Babylonians and Persians. Because why? They'll be the ones at the forefront. They'll be the ones where it's like everything being done in the image and vibration. Now you got, that's the thing, it's like the actions and nature of behaviors that are upheld now are what those that align with Esau. Because like, it's his time to rule. He's basically able to go and say, okay, what's the beauty standard? Blonde hair, blue eyes, pale skin. That's it. That's the standard. Everyone else, you go around the world everywhere, everyone's basically chasing after that. Why are people literally destroying their hair to dye it blonde?
and the joke is you may come across someone that's dark skinned, impeccable skin, thick, flowing hair. But guess what? Even when you deal with in the media, when they deal with like Jake models, they really don't even deal with Jake. They go and get a hat or even a hermetic looking Jake, right? With no hair, with like thick, the real like primal looking Jake.
Primal, yeah.
Like that's the big go for.
The big lips.
So when someone, that's why when they see Jake, they're like, that's what they'll think on a world scale. Aside from Judah and the years and years that they've had, prior with within the pop world. But this day and age,
the old what do you call it, MJ before the vitiligo.
even beyond them, just like actors like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
So I was just thinking the poster, the Thriller and whatnot cover. It's like that's something that used to be everywhere. I remember globally.
But that's why when they Jake in their true essence, it's like, oh wow, like
there's so much more to it.
Yeah, sorry.
There's so much more to it.
Basically, that they're basically hiding and keeping away from the people. But that's the point. The reason why they're doing it is because they want to hide it from the World Wide Web, so it don't really exist. So the infrastructure of that algorithm, within the algorithm of AI, basically operates off of that mindset, right? I don't know where you're at.
No, we're going. So,
That's what I said.
Actually, yeah. I got this. Isaiah 14 and 4 says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. And yeah, that's essentially what? With the decline and end of Esau's rule. Then it's really being clarified, okay, so how does so-called white man rule? And then what? Through oppression, through force, through bearing down on the people. That's really and you go to his blessing. What was the blessing? By the sword shalt thou live. That's the means by which you're going to bear rule, utilizing the sword. And that's really, it's evident within Esau's system as well. It's what he really goes by what the rule of through power. That's how he enforces his rule, his rights. When they had colonialism, that was what? That was going around to all these different places in the world, sending the army in, fucking up the natives, and then taking their goods and saying, now trade with us. They're saying like we really like your China, we really like your tea, we really like whatever. Send the goods, and we'll give you pay. It's great. You be part of the empire of Belgium, the empire of Portugal, the empire of Spain, the empire of Britain, and the latest one, the empire of America.
That's a modern day empire.
That's why you have Trump came in, and then you said you're going to get to. Yeah, Trump came in. The key word that was in everyone was reporting it was what? Tariffs. Because he said it happened last time he got in. Last time he got in, you had the tariffs on China. And it's funny because even before what's his name was leaving office, Biden was leaving office. He followed through and made sure there was two things. There was one was the Japanese steel company trying to buy up the U.S. steel company, which he blocked, and then you had the electric vehicles from China, where it's been known for like the last 3-4 for fucking ages, maybe even longer. I think like 2018, 2019, China's electric vehicles like completely outdo competition-wise anything American made. Everyone talks about Tesla. Tesla's the go-to. Everyone thinks about an electric car. They're thinking of a Tesla. But the reality is there's like the big Chinese companies like BYD. They're like Tesla can't compete. The only reason that they can't, like, they're not big in like parts of I can't remember exactly for Europe what the tariff rates are, but I know in they might have brought them down in Europe, but I know in the US it's like 100% tariff rate on electric vehicles to basically make it impossible to compete. So these, it's essentially artificially maintaining the dream of America through those tariffs that putting costs upon certain goods, certain parts of trade. That's very forceful, and that's something that is utilized as well. You had Iran, where they had their not tariffs, embargoes put on them.
You know what that is, right?
I was like, should I say it? I was fucking hell, the embargo, that MOTV, which is BS. But yeah, those embargoes put on Iran basically crippled the economy to as a form of control, as an act of war essentially. So that's basically been boiling under the surface again. That's why Trump's back in office, and he signed in certain of the executive orders, but then people are still waiting for more to see what's done. He was talking crud at the WEF as well, against Europe, against certain countries, saying, "Oh, okay, we're gonna have to do X, Y, Z." So now everyone's on their toes, and then even really it's like from when it became clear he won, even like near where I work, certain companies, they were saying like, we can't really do any business because we have to wait and see what Trump does. There was like certain trade deals or whatever they were looking at, then they were thinking like, we can't really know what we can do until Trump gets in office. Because they might be working on something for like 6 months, a year and a half, then they find out, actually there's going to be some fat 25% rate slapped on top of that. Then they just have to throw it all in the bin as it becomes unviable. But that's really that's how it feels on these different nations. And it's like going back to Habakkuk 2. So he heapeth unto himself all nations. This guy's basically amassed all this wealth, basically built the global economy where everyone's interdependent, and really at the core of it, you have the petrodollar. That's how he's had it constructed. And then It's people that don't behave, they rebel. A good example to use is, what's his name? Mr. Libya, man. Gaddafi. This guy was trying to set up his own currency, where it was gold backed. And they were like, no, nah, we ain't gonna have none of that. Send in the goons. The goon squad came through, and though they weren't Arsenal supporters, then they took him out. That guy was done. Then what happened to Libya? You had the cheapest, smoothest oil pipeline going to France. And that was the thing. After like the war in Iraq, everyone was kind of, they understood a lot of these wars, they're happening for business interests. They're saying, oh, it's some grand, glorious crusade for freedom and democracy and rightness. But then in reality, what? It all comes down to money. I'll read on. It says, verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. And yeah, that's the level of bliss that will be felt. Because why? It's people have been. That's why it's like people are really normalized to the level of being broken down this much. People think it's normal to go to work and slog and graft. You know, you wake up at the crack of dawn, you're slogging and grafting for 25, 30, 35, 40 years to build up someone else's wealth. Then at the end, you know, you're meant to get a pension. Then you drop dead 2 years into the pension. All that money that you're putting away don't mean shit. Or your pension didn't rise with inflation, or your pension got invested in what's one of these? No, not even BlackRock. One of the ones that went bust. There's Bernie Madoff, the super what's it called, thingy scheme?
Oh, thingy, Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, the super Ponzi scheme, Bernie Madoff. You had what was it, Enron? Enron's a good one. You had these companies where it seemed like, oh, it was what? Why they were doing great. They might have invested your money you're putting away for your future. Then you just hear like, nah, actually, there's nothing left. It's done. Sorry, it just happens. Then you hear about man that run whoever was in charge of that is probably getting 6-figure salary, 7-figure salary for the year.
And a bonus for that.
And a bonus. Oh, I didn't even get to that salah. And the bonus. Laughing. Then he's going down to Thailand and getting his feet rubbed. Yeah. That's a fully a culture.
Hey, even like those individuals will work with, like, I can't wait until I turn 50 or whatever. I'll when they give me that little 10%, you know, they give them like access to their pension early, like yeah, I'm gonna take it. But the reality is, I mean, you could save 10% of your income. Like you work there 20 years, say you're on like 35 or 30k, 10% for 20 years. Bro, you got yourself fucking 60 grand. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You ain't gotta wait till your pension to come. You ain't got, I mean, for that little break off, you know, where they say, yeah. So what you do, you're just working just for, like, you know, definitely people getting fucked over, but they're simple. They're not sitting there and thinking, wait, hold on. I gotta wait all this time to get a lump sum. I gotta keep chasing my tail. They're not that sensible.
Says what gonna read it. Do you have anything? No, I don't. I'm gonna read this for switching lane one.
Kind of prefer, hey, only because the fucking wind now.
Yeah. It was thingy because it was like almost no wind today.
Yeah, no, I know. I prefer down there in the summertime. or like, longer daytime, daylight hours, and very favorable weather.
Revelation 12 and 12 says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because..."
Right. So, Book of Revelation saying woe. The word woe means destruction. So it's a heads up to those that are in the know. As far as saying woe to, the devil. The devil's gonna come down. Right? Destruction's on its way. Why is that the case? He says because he knows he has a short time. Right? That goes into what we were saying before, with his kingdom circling the drain and the Heavenly Father shortening the days for the sake of his elect. Right? Because if they weren't shortened, what would happen? There'll be no flesh left to be saved. That's how much despair and anguish is in the world right now. And that's why you have the spirit of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bar Hashem Yahushai, Bar Hashem Harakal Kodash, going up and down the earth, alright, as a righteous duality to Satan who goes up and down the earth, looking for those that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right? If you ain't getting through your day sighing or having thoughts of, man, this is some fucked up shit that's going on, hey, then you're at home. You might as well just get, what you need to do, get some sun lotion, get a beach chair, and get ready for destruction. Right? Because the Heavenly Father's going to come. And that's even if you make it that far. Because the book of Jeremiah speaks about different forms of death being presented in this time that we're in. All right, it talks about the dogs to tear, the sword to slay, the famine, all right, to kill. You got all these different things that are going to manifest in this time that we're in. And it's really started already. All right, we're knocking at the door of Jacob's trouble. Right, the beginning of sorrows is already, the Lord spoke about these things, alluding to it being, not alluding, but actually saying, all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So this is what we're seeing happen at this point in time. So we're privy to the things that are going on. Teaching, it's nice. I usually don't look at whips like that, but that one just looked. The rims, so solid. The newest shape, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks better than the fucking prior ones.
Yeah.
It feels like they went back to an older shape.
That one, they had the guy had nice rims, like the wheels was like bigger than the. But yeah, that's the point. These things that are happening right now. They're basically short, a sign of surety as far as what's on the agenda. All right.
Saying, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time."
Right, he knows he's under pressure. Right, that's why when you go into the book of Isaiah 47, it speaks about stand now in thine enchantments, if it can save me.
47.
Yeah, 47. What did I say?
I think you said 37.
Slut.
Yeah.
But the point being is that it says that because this man is basically, he's had a course of actions going back into inauguration. All right, actually, there's an article I can send you. You can read it. Because basically, what's going on right now? Speak for me.
I got this. Matthew 24 and 37. It says, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark." Yeah, so just as you had in the time of Noah, there was that leader. There was that build-up time of where prophesying was being done, and it hadn't yet come to pass. And during those days, then what? People eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, basically enjoying and continuing life as it was. It seemed as if everything they were doing was unimpeded. And that's really the mindset everyone has within the world. When the thing is, it doesn't even have to be doing well. It just has to be enough that they can continue with the same actions they've been taking that they wanted to do. And that's really what you can see it with now. It's like what people complain non-stop. They're saying, the work, X, Y. All people want to do. When they're at work, they complain about work. They get off from work, they go to the pub, they want to complain about work some more, complain about what's going on at home, their kids, their wife, their bills, their whatever. Why do people want to complain and stress on whatever? It's because they're looking for a way to decompress, man. They're trying to just be like, look, I'm just trying to enjoy myself. I'm trying to separate as far as possible from all the hardships. But then they don't realize a lot of those hardships are a harbinger. They're a sign of things to come. There's something you're meant to look at like, hold on, why is it that suddenly all these different things are fucking up? How is it there's this many issues in society? Why is it there's all kinds of wacky nonsense is now being pushed through as normalcy? Then suddenly you realize, it's maybe a sign of the time. Something you look to and then you're like, now there's more to this.
Read the article and say,
so that's what staugustine.com. This is what Rip the Floor. Is that the guy?
Yeah.
It's 4 minutes. Yeah. So it says, regardless of our political persuasion, we Americans are generally an optimistic lot, and usually, though less so of late, inclined to hope for the best during presidential elections, inaugurations, and even once the new leadership is in place. We've been peacefully inaugurating US presidents on January 20th every 4 years since 1937, and on March 4th before then. But the tradition of inaugural rituals with all their pomp and circumstance dates back to ancient Rome, like so much else in the American political tradition. Elections and other important public activities were sanctioned by a ceremony Romans called inauguration. The procedure involved secret rites of auguring presided over by a college of 16 priests known as augurs.
There you go. So that's showing you what? There's a form of what? Spirituality to inaugurating a president. Right? But that form of spirituality isn't a thing where it's like, God save America, in God we trust. No, this is going back to Rome. Remember, Rome is the people that, under the authority of Rome, should I say, who crucified the Lord. Alright? As to what we spoke of, those that weren't at one with the doctrine that was presented to them for the salvation of Israel, they were like what? They were of their father the devil, and the lust of their father they will do. So that's talking about Rome. Right? So this is what they do. They had 16 priests that presided over the inauguration, going to the augurs, in order to present their president in a place of rulership, leadership. Right? So go and read on. If you got anything to chuck in.
It says church and state are separate in the US, but in Rome they were intimately fused. To qualify for selection to the augural college, one must already have held high political office and be a member of the Senate, which together with the popular assemblies govern the empire. The abbreviation SPQR, title of a superb recent history of Rome by Cambridge professor Mary Beard, was posted on public buildings throughout the Mediterranean as a reminder of the shared authority of the Senate and the Roman people. Senatus Populus Romanus. Yeah. As in senatorial populace and of course Rome. The statesman Marcus Tullius Cicero, who rose from obscure origins, to become Rome's president in 63 BC. The Romans actually had co-presidents called consuls, who served a one-year term and had veto power over each other. Was appointed augur late in his career. The priest's responsibility was to take the auspices, a form of divination, and thus inaugurate not only newly elected officials, but also the dedication of public buildings, the commencement of festivals, and other civic functions. So religious practices, essentially.
So everything was blessed underneath the rights of these, so-called priests. So that shows you the level of paganism is, at the root. It's
Of the practice.
of everything within that society. And that's the same thing when you deal with America's personification. It's basically the rebirth of the Roman Empire, the Greco-Roman Empire. Right? When you deal with the UK, all right? When you deal with Rome, it would be America. All right? So these things are one and the same. You can't have one without the other. Right? So you imagine that all the things that were done back then, they're done now, but they're done in the dark. All right? Because you have the guise of the Church of England, Catholicism. All right? These things that are being presented before the people, that, when I say Catholicism, the Church of England, I'm saying it under the guise of Christianity. They believe in the one God, the Abrahamic God of the Bible. But that's not true, right? Because everything's been done under the power of their pagan worship. Baal, Satan, that's what they're about. Right. There's a bit more on it.
The auspices from auspicium, bird watching, and source of auspicious involve observing the flight of birds, of weather events, and other celestial phenomena that might indicate the god's disposition towards the proceeding at hand.
You've got to read that little bit thing.
So the auspices involve observing the flight of birds or weather events.
Right, so they basically how they did it is they observed birds and the weather events. So if it was raining, there was a blood moon, if there was some form of celestial phenomenon, that basically pertained to or even celestial phenomenon or some kind of catastrophic weather event. Right, these things they basically had kind of skin in the game as far as being part of that inauguration.
What is Jupiter saying?
Yeah.
What was
that's it.
What Diana saying?
Yeah.
It was
mythology of the Roman Empire.
Saturn, Uranus. They'll basically it's the same thing now. People are doing with horoscopes, crystals, all these different methodologies now. That's basically the modern manifestation of it. And that's the thing is like you said, they do it in they still do these things behind closed doors, but then there's still a level of it being done in public. That's why you have different forms of ceremonies throughout the year, and then tied to the government and whatnot. Even like Christmas and New Year's, those things are pagan observations that go back to pagan origins. But then what? Just because people are doing it in ignorance, doesn't mean it's separated from those roots.
Bro, what are you doing, man?
Huh?
The way you're looking at the camera, it just look a bit.
The camera? Oh no, I'm just thinking, what is it, innit?
Cool. We're reading out the Bible.
Okay.
12 tribes of Israel. You know about Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob got his name changed to Israel. They had 12 sons. You never heard of that story before? You guys Muslim? You should know that story, man. You know Abraham,
Yeah, I know Abraham.
but you should know his sons, Isaac and Jacob. But basically, that's how you get
Son and grandson.
yeah, son and grandson. Sorry. So today, you probably know. I know because I know what, like, because of how it is with the Israelis. You probably know the name Israel and just think of those people, but they're not the real people. They're imposters. They're basically going there to steal the land, basically.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Where you not from, country-wise? Pakistan,
It's in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Sorry, hey. Yeah. So basically, where it is as well, because we've got the sign. It says Judah, Benjamin, Levi, so on. These are the biblical names, and that's what they're known as today. What's happened? When you go into the Bible in Deuteronomy 28, it speaks about curses that fall upon the people. So when you deal with, like, say for example, the blacks in America, they're Judah. What's like the stereotypical things they're known for? That, like, if you get with a black man over there, he's gonna be a single mother. They all do drugs, all this different stuff. When you open the book of Deuteronomy 28, all those things are in there. It says, if you don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, you don't follow my way, I'll put curses on you. You go into slavery. Literally everything that you see has happened to them is in the Bible. But this is the thing now, this is the point, and it pertains, that's why I asked you where you're from. Because basically, what happened is our people been scattered all over the earth. So now we're talking about thousands of years where we look like different nations. Like even for example, the Puerto Ricans, Ephraim, right there. It tells you in the Bible that Ephraim's a cake unturned. They've mixed themselves with the nations. So you have Puerto Ricans like Jennifer Lopez that look light skinned, but they have dark Puerto Rico. I know you've seen Paid in Full, the movie, and you got Rico. His real name, the real guy, Alpo, but he's like a dark skinned Puerto Rican. So basically what it is, they're all meant to look like dark skin or whatever, but all the nations, even like the Argentinians, they're light skinned. So what's happened over the years is our people mix with different people. So you have people in Bangladesh, like yourself, the missus, that basically could go back to the lineage of the children of Israel, basically. So it's one of those things. So you might, certain things where you might feel like you relate to these people on the sign in some kind of way. Because we got a brother in this truth, he's Eritrean, but he's always had an affinity for the Puerto Ricans, you know, the natives and things like that, because there's something that draws them to them. That's what it is. But the main point why we're out here though, is because you heard of the mark of the beast?
The mark and the beast.
Mark of the beast.
No, what's that?
Basically it's something, it's a prophecy in the Bible, but they want to put chips in the people, microchips. So if you,
What, do they do that? Who's that?
yeah, that's happening right now. So that's biblical prophecy. So you can't buy or sell unless you have that microchip. So if you see a lot of the stuff with the pandemic, you had the vaccine and all this different stuff, even with Trump, different things with the drones. The drones is in the Bible. That's known as the chariots of Israel, UFOs. So when they came out of Egypt, you had the Lord with a UFO taking them out. So there's a lot of stuff that's inside of the Bible that's happening present day. But it's going to come to a point where you're going to have to make a choice. Because you won't be able to see how now a lot of things are in cashless, where at some point they're going to phase out cash, card. Then it's going to be like a thing you can Google it. It's known as the internet for persons. So what that is, they want to make you be part of the internet. So digital ID. Have you heard about the driving? They now got an AI system that can tell in the UK if you're driving. They tested it in November, But they said it was successful, so they're doing it nation. So all of this stuff is leading to basically you're gonna have to get that. You're gonna have to make a choice whether you want to get it or not. And once you make that choice, if you get it, you'll be wiped out with this world.
Trying to get
I hear it, bro.
That's it.
But just that's the main thing.
Mindset.
World War III as well. Obviously, you see what's going on with that.
Yeah.
So all of these things are inside of they're prophecies within the Bible. So if you know these things and you kind of see things are happening, then you can kind of avoid them. You know what I mean? But that's it. We're just out here teaching the Bible, the truth of the Bible, really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No
Take
problem,
care.
man.
Yes,
Take
I know
care.
as well.
Yeah, easy. But God, might as well get into whatever. You know, it's the way you pass the camera. I was like, oh, what are you? It's kind of, I thought he was gonna try and rock the camera. I didn't know what he was gonna do. He just was very close. But I could tell he was a Jake, you know, like the way he was. Because he had the fucking Christian, the Euro runners. Like he just, the Moncler, the Mac Tech. I said, yeah, this is a nigga right here. And for his missus to be with him, she's a nigga too, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know the nigga look when I see it, man. They probably come from STK, Roca, one of them, you know, one of them posh restaurants around the corner. That's the, you know, like, that's, you know, Jake is funny, because it's just like a play-by-play. Wear night techs, designer trainers, Moncler, go to, you know, fine dining, uptown, miss it, like, it's the same old, like, they would do the same shit. What guy, I mean, anyone with sense will see that there's something. When you put all the prophecies together, there ain't no two ways about it. You can see, just on a very basic level, you can see, bro, there's shit going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, life is that sense of normalcy you might have had, like, at this point, like 20 years ago or some shit, where you could just kind of function and just do whatever. You won't really be impacted by things. That's gone out the window. Now it's you know, you turn on the news, you used to turn on the news, and there'll be like a fucking budgie that was water skiing.
Yeah.
I don't remember what fucking movie or thingy that was from, but there was a movie where they had that. I don't remember the water skiing budgie. But that, you know, those things would be, you know, would just be some you know, I remember you turn on the news, they're saying, oh, we got the first flying car or whatnot, and they'll talk about that, and you know, there was a sense of optimism. But now it's fucking depressing. No one wants to watch the news. Because why? They turn it on, they're seeing Palestinians getting their limbs blown off. They're sitting hearing about, oh, you know, there's tariffs, the cost of X, Y, Z might be going up.
You got some crazy nigga.
What is that look, bro? Fucking hell, bro. And in the camera, just
Crazy ass nigga.
the wildest, most insane, batshit ass.
And the guy was just Doctor Who, man.
Yeah,
Like, that's some
actually
real
is,
shit.
yeah.
Like when you
That's
draw
Doctor Who.
a contrast between the two, this guy was, you know, within the realm of everything. I know, we know the play. You know, they're gonna try
Because
to
it wasn't
pin
even
it on
like,
us.
yeah.
You know,
It's
try
like-
and make us look as crazy.
Because Doctor Who's BBC as well, where it's like, and I'm like, in that time, that was when all these things that they're talking about, like, oh, those BBC knew about X, Y, Z was going around, footage is coming out. Then it's like, oh, this guy's in the link with that. Then out of nowhere, this guy just going and chefing up Euclid. Like, what the fuck?
Like, you don't even get ready.
That's-
In jail, you're gonna get fucked up, man.
yeah, you're actually gonna be dead.
When he gets burned, when they find out, I don't know
That's
whether they're
not
gonna poke him up or they're gonna fucking like attack him with hot water, like make his time miserable, so he just hangs himself. But he ain't gonna have a good ride, man. Whatever he thought he was doing doesn't make sense. But hey,
Because it's one of those, it's like, it's not even any kind of point you want to make or whatever. It's a madness. Like, I don't even know, it's like, I don't even know the last time some shit like this happened. With like, youth stepping down the line.
yeah, you ain't getting no ratings of that. It don't make sense.
Like, no one anywhere is
Even GMs, they're gonna be looking at him like, this nigga good. my man's tapped, like.
Yeah, bro. It's,
They're gonna raise like, you know, they're not. Listen, man will get banged for being a dog, for raping, like those kind of things. As much as criminality they're into, fucked up backdoor shit they do. That's something that you are not gonna get an easy ride. Like we said again, we know the play. That's something that's being done for and being presented before the masses for, you know, to be, you know, for only, you know, the most high forbid, how far Hashem forbid. But we know according to prophecy, they want to, you know, try to stain us with that mark of paint us with that brush, you know?
but then also, so I'll finish with this. Matthew 24:37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And yes, it's basically going to hit. It's going to come as a surprise. And even though it's really not a surprise, it's something that there's innumerable signs and things you can point to and be like, yo, what's going on? Like, how, this is strange. This is odd. This is untoward. Like, what's going on?
Fucking hell. Have you ever felt like this?
Strange.
That's an old school
Yeah.
TV show.
Going around the twist. But that's it.
Scared of that show, man.
That shit was weird.
It's weird as fuck.
It's like that and fucking Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Funny as hell.
Good shit.
But that's why it's what with I was gonna say fucking round the twist there. No, with the what do you call it? With these things coming to pass, people really do think they can just continue life as it is. They're going on holiday. They're you know getting married, getting together, eating and drink, going out for a meal. You know, seeing their friends, having a good time. So you can do those. But then it's also an awareness of the time you're in. That's what there's a complete dearth of. Club, pub, bar spirit. Yeah. But that's really the mind. A lot of people are just in that club, pub, bar. They're trying, and most people, that's why they do drugs. That's why they smoke. That's why they do drug. They do drug. They do drug. Because why? They're thinking about deadening themselves to any awareness of the world. You have to think, it's like, even with smoking, it's
Like
one of the things.
Cypher, I don't remember nothing.
Yeah, I don't want nothing, bro. That's
really important or something, like a movie star.
Yeah,
That's important.
Yeah, that's what he wants
to be plugged back
essentially.
in, my guy. Say something like that.
But that's the mindset of most people.
Man thought the Matrix was going to be a fucking casting couch.
No.
That's what, okay. You thought thingy Morpheus was a woman. That was Trinity, really. So, yeah, you thought Trinity was going to give him some play.
Mm-hmm.
Take off your shirt.
But you find out, it's like, oh wow, this is nice. This is too hard. It's too real, man. Fuck this. I wanted to get my dick sucked, man.
Yep.
So why ain't my dick got sucked all this time? That's really, yeah. That's a lot of people. It's like, well, this is. They hear about the truth. Oh, you can have 20 wives. Like, yo, man, thinking like that. But then it's like, bro, it's like having 20 wives, bro. I wouldn't even, like, right now, I barely want to have one wife. What the fuck? 20 wives in this kingdom. Fuck that, bro.
Yeah, man. That's what we ain't got nothing else to say. I don't know if you got anything to say, bro.
Now you can tell me.
Alright, then, you know, we ain't gonna fuck this week, but Lord willing, we be out here next week, man. Turning up. Lord willing, we'll be out next week. So, with that, say shalom, man. Shalom. Shalom.